Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. This is part 3 of Baby Streaming 101. For those of you who've watched all 3 of the 2 previous videos and now have joined me for the 3rd, thank you for your support. For those of you who are new, we have Baby 101 video 1 being setting up OBS to work with Twitch, and then video 2 is getting this Twitch panel into OBS so OBS can function for you better. So right now I'm going to go over scenes and what things are better to use versus others. Like, I'm going to explain the difference between certain things. So I typically use audio input, audio output capture, browsers, which I will discuss browsers as a source in a different video when we do scenes because they're tightly intertwined. So please stay tuned for that video because that video will be coming out probably in the next couple days. But it's a more in-depth. It requires a lot more than what I have time to go over today. So each of these things does something different. Input capture, I'm going to add this, and then I'm going to set this to my microphone. So that gets captured. So that is picking up anything I say or do or speak. Audio capture is basically anything I want OBS to pick up. Now, keep in mind, there's a couple different ways you can do both of these, and you can essentially get an audio mixer in here. So I prefer to use audio mixer instead of the sources simply because once you get too many sources, it does get overwhelming a little bit. So in this instance, I'm actually going to use audio mixer instead of those sources. So for the desktop audio, so this is what is being captured. I am going to set this to my Sonar stream profile on my series, or yeah, the GG, Sonar GG. Now for Sonar, you do have to enable streamer mode. So this is what I hear. This is what my stream hears. So essentially I have just set OBS to pick up this. Now, click OK and we're done. And then the mic I'm also going to fix, and oh good, it went to my default, which is my Sonar microphone. But typically if you're going to have like other things of input, like a second mic or a second output capture that you need to capture, this is where you would use this source. But in this case, I don't need it because I'm using audio mixer. So yes, I want to get rid of that. So color basically allows you to make your screen any color you wish. It all depends on what you want, but that is super duper bright. Nobody likes a bright white background. It causes eye strain. So we're just going to leave that there so it, it doesn't look like a blank screen on your end, but it actually, you guys can actually see something here. Now, for display capture and game capture, each of these does something different. Display capture captures your entire screen, whereas game capture only captures your game. And with these two, I'm also going to throw window capture in there. So these 3 things virtually do the same thing, but they're slightly different. So window capture will only capture specific windows. So let's say, for example, I want it to capture only my Sonar. Okay. I want it to capture this and this alone. That's when I would use window capture, is when I want it to only capture one program that I'm using. And this can be any program that I'm using. It could be, for example, my web browser or, my Discord. It can be anything. So that's when I would use window capture. And we're going to make it hidden so it doesn't change. But we're also going to go through game capture. So game capture allows you to capture any game that is currently either full screen or what you choose. Depending on what you need or how your game behaves determines what mode you need. So for example, I have some games that will open up that are in windowed full screen mode. Now, sometimes OBS will detect that, other times it won't. In the cases that it won't, that's when I use capture specific window. But for the most part, I do use any full screen application simply because OBS is pretty good about capturing everything, but you know, there's a couple times where it doesn't. So once you do this, you're going to click OK. And as you can see, you can actually see like this purple outline. This is how my game capture, like where it's going to fit. Now this, I can change this. I can resize this to however I see fit. Now in this case, I do have a game popped up, but it's apparently in windowed mode, so it's not being detected. So this is when I would switch over to specific window and then look for the game that I'm trying to display. Oh my. Okay. So in this case, my game capture has decided to exceed my canvas, which that's fine. It's an easy fix. It's not an issue. So you can either click and drag this and manually resize this, which to be fair, that's tedious. I personally go over to transform and scroll down to fit to screen, and that's going to fit my canvas size. Now, if you need this to be even smaller, then you can resize it. But for me, I typically do my game capture to fit my canvas size. And then the last source that is similar to game capture and window capture is display capture. Display capture is different than the other two. Game capture only captures game, windows only captures specific windows. Display captures the entire screen, which is what I am using to capture OBS in this instance and my background. Like you can see all my games here. This is what I am using to basically record and show you how and what I am doing. So in this instance, you can see all of this. Now, again, it exceeded the canvas, which is how you know, when you see these lines, you know that. So you can either right click and do transform, edit transform, or Control F to resize. Now, this is why I typically don't do display capture with OBS, because you see this infinite screen. This just gets mind-boggling. So this is where I'm going to change the display capture, and I'm going to hide it. That way you can't see it. But yeah, those are the three main things you're going to be using. Now, browser source will be something you do use later when you start creating scenes. But for now, just get familiar with using, the three main captures and any images that you want on your screen. So I do want to show this so you guys can understand, how the sources work and layer. So in this instance, I'm just going to throw my Twitch coin into this image. Now you see how huge this is. This takes up my entire screen. Well, I'm going to resize this, and I'm actually going to do edit transform and then resize this to maybe 250 pixels. And then I'm going to I'm going to do automatic bounds simply because I don't need it to fit the entire screen. Now with this, you essentially can move any of your sources to any part of your screen. It does not have to be locked into the full canvas size. If you're using a webcam, you can put your webcam in any of the corners, or even if you want to put it in the middle of the screen, you can do that too. That's always an option. But you do have to keep in mind that if you do like images or webcams or anything like that, or when you're doing like background scenes and all of that, you have to be mindful of how your sources are layered. And what I mean by that is, if you have something that you need to overwrite something else, you have to be careful. So in this case, I'm going to do display capture. So as you notice, I have in the corner here, or, you know, I have a game. I have a game up. This is actively up. This is actively, it's on there, but it's being overridden by OBS and the display capture. Now, if I want just to display my game, now you can see the display capture is still here, but it's not being shown. And my game capture is. So, like, see, they're there. It's just layered on top of one another. Now, imaging, you know, the images work the same. So the higher they are in the source list means what gets more visible, what's shown first. So, like, you can layer this as many times as you need to do whatever you need to do. It's entirely up to you. This is your stream. You make it work for you. Now, I'm actually going to remove some of these because I don't need them. We're going to get rid of that, but we're going to keep the game capture just because for, you know, demonstration purposes. So just remember that layering is a thing, and how you layer determines what gets shown first. And if you do have a camera, which I don't, you can always, you know, resize stuff. So you never have to panic. You can easily move anything to wherever you need it to be. Now, for example, see how I keep accidentally snagging my game capture? If I don't want my game capture to move at all, in your sources list, click the lock next to it. And that locks that from being moved ever. If you don't want it visible, click the little eye icon and it goes hidden. So those are just some of the things that, you know, people should know that don't necessarily know. But if you do, back to the video thing, if you do use a webcam, this is how you would set it up. You would use the video capture device and go from there. I don't have one, mainly because I'm broke, but, you know, what baby streamer isn't? So hopefully y'all found this helpful. If there's anything else you would like me to go over, either with the sources or, you know, doing the audio mixer, anything, please let me know in the comments. And again, if you found this helpful, please like and subscribe and share with your friends.